based first on aqidah, the belief. So it's the aqidah which dictates the thoughts, the morals, and the actions of the person. So here the Prophet ﷺ in hadith قال كلكم لآدم وآدم من تراب. All of you are coming from Adam, and Adam is from dust, from soil that he was created. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran in Surah Al-Rahman وَالْأَرْضَ وَضَعَهَا لِلْأَنَامِ. The whole earth, all that made it to be for anam, the creation, the humankind. However, when you think what should be the only thing that can bring all people together, subhanallah, is the aqidah. Sometimes you find a person who, for example, who migrated to a city or a town, even if he lives 50 years, he's gonna be called the stranger one, especially in a tribal, or this one, he's the offspring of the stranger family. But subhanallah, a newcomer to Islam, even if he has a second in Islam, he becomes the brother and in Islam. So the aqidah, when you base, the foundation of the society, you base on aqidah, there is no distinction between anyone. The newcomer to Islam, the new reverted to Islam, he feels very comfortable, very welcome. He feels already that he's already Muslim since he was born. And he came back to his roots. And this is one of the aspects that when presented to the world, when presented to people, say, Islamic society is based on the aqidah. Therefore, the ethnicity, the tribes, the offspring, all of that could not be in any way to build a society universal. But the aqidah does. So that's the first thing. The aqidah dictates the thought, the moral, and the action of the person. Therefore, it is the foundation in the Islamic system or the social system. The outcomes of building the social system upon the Islamic belief, you will have the Islamic ukhuwah, brotherhood, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ أَخْوَةٌ, brotherhood and sisterhood. The believers are true brothers in Iman, and this is a reality. It's not like words only. And you'll find like books and codes about, the relation between believers. And the first thing, like the greeting between the believers, is actually kind of a contract of peace, of helping each other, or regarding each other. When you say someone assalamu alaikum, by obligation you have to say wa alaikum assalam, right? So it's like the greeting is the acceptance of the contract between you and your brother, or between you and your sister. So that's the first الرباط الإيماني, as the Prophet ﷺ قال المسلم أخو المسلم. And he mentioned, called the body of Muslim, like the Muslim, like one body. If one limb or one part of the body, subhanallah, is in pain, the whole body will be standing with that part. And this is, subhanallah, the society of Islam. We're caring of each other. That's why you'll find you go deep into the details of this action, caring of the neighbor, caring of the young ones, caring of the poor ones. All of this is part of this ukhuwah of Iman. However, the brotherhood and this relation in the society based of the Iman, it does not mean that ignore anyone who is not Muslim in the society. Actually, he's regarded as one of the society, protected as one of the society. And as he's been given the guarantee to live in peace and safety, therefore everyone subject of that society, he's entitled to observe that commitment toward the person who live with them. In hadith of the Prophet, قال ألا من ظلم عاهدا أو انتقصه أو كلفه فوق طاقته أو أخذ منه شيئا بغير طيب نفس فأنا خصمه يوم القيامة. Prophet ﷺ said, whoever who transgress a person, mu'ahad, like he live in a Muslim society, with that covenant and oath of being safe and live in peace. أو انتقصه, or who cheat him or take anything from him, or he'll burden him more than he can bear, like maybe he's a worker, as a shop or in a business, and the person is Muslim. He say, this one is not Muslim, I'm going to, burden him and punish him, things like that. That's all haram. So he said, the Prophet ﷺ, or who took from him anything that with no right, or actually against his own will, the Prophet ﷺ قال فأنا خصمه يوم القيامة. Whoever who does such a thing, I am to be the one who's standing against him in the day of judgment. So this is, the character and the moral of Muslims in a society toward the one who does not share their belief. The second aspect is the absence, if we can say, of tribalism and fanaticism, what we call in Arabiya al-asabi. There's no such a thing. There's no such alliance based on tribalism. It's all based on Iman. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, لَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ دَعَى إِلَىٰ عَصَبِيَّةٍ وَلَيْسَ مِنَّا مَنْ مَاتَ عَلَى عَصَبِيَّةٍ. It's not one of us who call for tribalism and fanaticism, and he's not one of us who dies on such thing. And Islam rejects every type of fanaticism, not only based on roots like ethnicity or tribes, but anything that stands, and be like the motive for people to do wrong thing, that is asabi. Any type of fanaticism in Islam is rejected. The next one here we have the meaning of asabiyya, to support someone with both justice and injustice because of a common interest. That is rejected in Islam. The next one is taqwa Allah hiya mizanu at-tafaduli bayna an-nas. The piety is the tool of distinction and preference between people, and that is based in the society. The Prophet ﷺ in hadith, he said, the Quran, he will be rising high at high ranks people in Islam. And the greatest scholar knowing from the Tabi'een, majority of them, they were slaves. They were servant of companion who learned, he taught them, and they became learned one, and people, they travel to sit and learn from them. Why? Because the preference between people is piety, not status, money, or anything else. Because when Islam eradicate fanaticism and tribalism in the society, then it also eradicate that, the pride and the boasting based on nobility and families and all of that. It goes away. It goes away. Then it's going to be replaced by the piety. And imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Salatul Jama'ah to be, that unity of the community. Standing in Salatul Jama'ah, everyone is equal. Everyone is equal. The Imam is leading because of condition he fulfilled, but he is equal to everyone else. As a matter of fact, the Imam, after he finished the prayer, the scholar recommend, and this is, inspired from the Sunnah, to not sit there except for the dhikr, because he's not supposed to be in front of anybody unless with condition and a purpose. Condition and a purpose. So everyone is equal. So the king and the president and the servant, all of them, they stand in one row, and all of them, they make sujood. And in the same time, the one next to you, you don't know, he might be the closer to Allah from among everybody else. So without, subhanAllah, feeling, you feel like you are obligated to love your brother that standing next to you, who might be your bridge to paradise. And that's, subhanAllah, the sense of the brotherhood in Islam. Sense of the brotherhood in Islam. Ibn al-Qayyim says, he said, might be two people standing next to each other, and the difference between them is like, hundreds of years in the ranks of Allah. So you don't know. And this is, subhanAllah, how the brotherhood in Islam is built, and how when we hear the counts of the companions Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim is because of this. And that's why we said it's not words and statements that we're studying, it's a reality that really existed in the life of the Prophet and the first generation Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim. The virtue of person here then is regarded based on his kindness, his action, and that's what determine a person. And when someone, for example, if he's going to be evaluate his own self or check his identity, what really build our identity? It's your action. Is your action. What make you closer to Allah is your action. So your identity is your action. Actually, the body we have is a test, is a trial. It's gonna go back to the ground. What stays is the soul that you filled with your own decision and your own choices. The characteristic of the Islamic social system consider and encourage the righteous moral, consider justice in all aspects, in speech, in writing and transaction, in judgment, in weighing scales, in everything. Well-being of the household. So you see the system, the social system of Islam, taking in consideration, as we said, the akhlaq, the adal, and then the very caring of the family, the role that, or like the importance that the system, the social system in Islam give to the family is very important and very big. Why? Because in the Islamic system, the society or the family is considered to be the first cell of the society. If you want to come and attain a pure society, like the fertile land to absorb and benefit of the Sharia of Allah, you have to have first the family to be pure. So the cells, if they are pure, then the body is pure. What is the cells of the society are the families. That's why you find, subhanAllah, is big literature, a lot of ahkam. We have a whole fiqh concerned or devoted to fiqh al-usra, the way how to, from the beginning, the spouses, when they're intending to found a household, they're going to be looking for the criteria of the one who's going to be their partner in their life. What is this criteria? Ad-din wal khuluq, aqidah and akhlaq. You see? So aqidah and akhlaq, which is the base of the society, and it is, subhanAllah, the base of the morality, and it is the base to seek the maslahah. It is actually the base and the foundation of the usra, of the family. And then you find that lay down the rights of the spouses, both men and female, the coming of the regulation even of the separation for the sake of the peace for both of them in case they cannot hold together on one household, and all of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala legislated in a way to ensure the let's say the purity or the way to get to the purity of the society. The family is a single unit of the society. The righteousness of the family results in the righteousness of the society. Then another aspect and characteristic in the Islamic system, in the society system, that every person is entitled to contribute in the correction of the society. Everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Help each other in gaining piety and righteousness. So by contributing in helping other gaining piety, in fulfilling righteousness, you are contributing in the correction of the society. Every member is affected by the society. That's why there's the collective obligation in the society, which is meant to regard the morality and to be caring of it into the society. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Quran, there is difficulties that befall on people. Difficulty that befall on a particular person because of what he did or she did. But there's difficulty that you're not, you didn't do anything, but other people, they did it. But when this difficulty comes, it's going to, subhanallah, be inflicted by everyone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال وَاتَّقُوا فِتْنَةً لَا تُصِيبَنَّ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْكُمْ. Shield yourself from a trial, from a difficulties that being caused by some wrongdoer among you. Therefore, it becomes an obligation on the believers to stop the wrongdoing before the calamity will fall. Look in Ghazwat Uhud. What happened to the whole army? It's because of the 47, it is like maybe 7% of the whole army who disobeyed. It caused the whole chaos into the army. So it's like a responsibility of everyone to watch over the society. And this is how to maintain the purity and righteousness into the society. So you see, in the Islamic system, this relation between the action and the divine, because the decree and the destiny is based on the action of the people. The necessity of establishing a righteous society is a necessity. So every believer, not only he intend, he has to work toward, such a great objective. And all what I am saying, it has, evidences in the Quran and the Sunnah, but we're going to just to understand how the elements go together, how the whole system is coherent, and inshallah, we can in another occasion give you more about the evidence. But the most important here, how to associate it and relate it to the Dawah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, for example, in this ayah, Allah saying to Luqman saying to his son, يَا بُنَيَّ أَقِمُ الصَّلَاةَ وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَانْهَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا أَصَابَكَ. O my son, establish prayer, enjoy good, and forbid evil, and have patience on whatever is befallen you.
how does it apply to like they looking at each other? The case where correcting wrong, something like that. Like kind of like obligation of how does it apply if the Muslim follow that?
It's not the same. No, it's not.
There's condition for that.
Huh?
There's some condition before they want that.
We're talking about the Muslim society.
Okay.
This is Muslim society because it's not be possible, for a minority to implement all this because they do not have in their hand the ways to execute, all the, let's say, the element helping to come to that level. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ, when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu ta'ala anhu to Al-Yemen, he told him, you're going to come meet people of the book, call them first to La ilaha illallah. The aqidah, the foundation of the society, the foundation of the belief, the foundation of the morality. Without La ilaha illallah, you cannot advance. The necessity of establishing a righteous society, that's how people can achieve the well-being. So the well-being of this universe only can be achieved by establishing a righteous society. Period. Therefore, the objective of the believers is to attain this objective, is to work toward this objective. And this is what will fulfill what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I only created jinn and ins to worship me, and the worship will be to establish a righteous society. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ تَتَوَفَّاهُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. Those who've been, the angel come to take their souls, and they've been قَالَ ظَالِمِ أَنفُسِهِمْ. They transgressed themselves. They say, why were you like this? They said, we've been weakened on the earth and could not do anything. So the angel will tell them, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً. Wasn't the land of Allah is vast, so you can travel in it and move toward where you'll find the goodness. The last aspect in the heaven establishing a righteous society is to be saved from a collective punishment. A relief from a collective punishment is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to protect. قال Allah in many ayat, and we will not go to punish any town except when they are transgressors. وَكَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ مُهْلِكَ الْقُرَىٰ إِلَّا وَأَهْلُهَا ظَالِمُونَ. طيب. The next system of al-ifta. This one also we're going to have a summary, and to the main we're going to see the relation of the ifta with the system of the dawah that we studying. وَكُلٌّ يَبْعَثُ عَلَى مَا مَاتَ عَلَيْهِ وَعَلَى إِيمَانِهِ. So those who died, for example, yes, that's whoever who died in a collective punishment, he will be resurrected on his intention. So he's gonna be judged on what he has as iman, because the collective punishment is being caused by transgression into the society. But that pious person, if he was, diligent in the way of living his way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant him mercy, of course. So not everyone, for example, tsunami comes and take a whole town. Everyone who's going to be resurrected is going to be resurrected on the state how he died. A person, he was, making dawah. The other one was praying. The other one was planning for an evil doing. The other one was... So everyone, subhanallah, it was the end of the term of his life. Some of them is going to be shaheed, other is going to be, wal'iyadu billah, the last, let's say, trial in his life. That's it. He's been given a lot of possibilities. He ignored them all. Al-ifta'u, this is a nidam. So a nidam, which is mean like you have to put as a structure into the society to provide the ifta. The ifta comes to fulfill the characteristic of the universality of Islam. So what is ifta? Ifta is the system to provide fatwa. And fatwa is to issue an Islamic ruling, an Islamic verdict. So this is what we have said, if you remember in that drawing I have done, that what keep the Islam to be a way of life, you have to have this system relevant, functional, and providing fatwa. Because when someone, for example, say, I have an issue, how can I face this issue? What is the guidance in this issue? So the scholars here, they have to give an answer. If there is no answers, so what we're going to say? So they're going to say Islam is not universal. Islam is not general for all time. We are living in the society, there's a lot of things we're seeing that Islam does not have a saying in it. So the absence of the system of ifta in a society, it's really one of the biggest measures. Saying why? Because it's an obstacle at conveying the way of Allah and keeping the Islam, the relevance of Islam. So it is obligatory on scholars to teach and preach. It is the responsibility of the individual to learn what it is required from the knowledge of the Islamic rulings. There are 4 pillars for the system of ifta. Just in brief: al-mustafti, al-mufti, al-ifta, and the fatwa. So al-mustafti is the person inquiring about a ruling, an issue that he's facing. The mufti is the person he's going to issue the ruling. Al-ifta is the process of issuing the ruling, and the fatwa is the ruling itself. Now, the mufti here, he has to have a qualification to give the fatwa. The mustafti is the believer who's caring about his deen. Why every one of us need to be mustafti? Because every action you do is going to fall under one of the category. It's either halal or recommended or obligation or haram or makruh. So every action we do is going to be in your record. And you want the action to be in your record to be from halal and up, halal, mustahab, or wajib. So you want to be rewarded, not punished. So you have something and you say, I don't know what to do. Scholar, help me, show me the guidance. I don't want it to be in my record something like a dark. I want it to be light. And here comes the ruling. However, the system, the mustafti, the person inquiring about an Islamic rule on a certain matter to understand and implement the ruling. In this certain matter, the mustafti will be following the opinion of the mufti. So the opinion of the mufti is going to be the religion, the deen for the one who asking the question. That's why it's very important here. It's important for the one who asking the question to go to the right sources and trusted sources. And it's important to one who given the fatwa to fear Allah, to give the right fatwa based on his own ijtihad. Therefore, if he is based on his own ijtihad, he has to have the qualification of ijtihad. And this is require piety and taqwa. A scholar traveling from Al-Maghrib, the Islamic West, which is North Africa now, to Medina to meet Al-Imam Malik. To Medina to meet Al-Imam Malik. And he has a lot of issues, masail, book of issues. Requesting the meeting with Al-Imam Malik. After a while, they sat together. He told them the first issue. He said, I don't know. He looked at him. Imam Malik, you don't? He said, no, I don't know this one. Second, I don't know. Third, okay, answer. He ended up like having like 80%. He didn't, none answered. Told him, yeah, Imam, what should I say to the people when I go back? He told them, say, Imam Malik said, I don't know. That's piety. There's no, that arrogance or that pride to say, how can, how me, I say I don't know, And that's the mufti. That's the right mufti who helps society to find the way of Allah, because you give the fatwa to help someone, go to Allah safe. However, in the other hand, the mufti who say everything haram, he's not a mufti. Why? As Imam al-Nawawi he said in the meaning of what he said the mufti, the scholar is not the one who's saying everything is haram. He's the one who finds the solution to the one who asking the question. Give him a solution. Don't tell him it's haram, because haram is like you block the door, you close the door at his face. Give him a solution. So the system of the ifta, it is crucial, and it is in the heart of the system of Islam. It's in the heart of the system of Islam. So when we're talking about if someone in the way of the dawah, the universality, the comprehensiveness of the Islam, the generality of Islam, they require the system to be functional, relevant, and sound. And it has based on its base, or its adequate pillars, which is mainly the piety, a mustafti who is a believer who's seeking to find guidance in the issue that he's facing, and the mufti who had the right, knowledge, and he had the qualification to give the fatwa. Because someone give fatwa without qualification, it's a major sin. And someone who give fatwa without a qualification, even though he give the right answer, it's a major sin. And a qualified scholar giving fatwa, and he will be wrong in his fatwa, Allah will reward him. Because if he get the right answer, he's rewarded twice. If he get wrong, Allah reward him for his effort. That's why he called mujtahid. He making an ijtihad. But ijtihad, sincere ijtihad, based on piety and fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All of this, inshallah, you can read it. There's here details about al-mustafti and al-mufti, the person issuing the Islamic ruling on certain matter, condition for being mufti, Muslim, sanity, justice, diligence. Type of diligence is the unconstrained diligence, the diligence within a specific school of thought. The unconstrained one will say al-mujtahid al-mutlaq, who's not, restricted to any school of thought. He has his own principle, like the four scholars, imams, Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Shafi'i, Imam Ahmed. Those are, who had set their own principles of extracting the laws, and the principle also are taken from the Quran and the Sunnah. However, why there's difference between them? The difference between them is their sincerity, their diligence, their dedication to show to their people the way to implement the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. What? And everyone took a path, not a path that changed the deen. In the very simple example, if someone will ask you to, take this table and to arrange it. You can put, he said, arrange it, I'm going to put this is on the side, put the glass off the table, do things, maybe fold this one. Another person is going to do totally different. But the result, the table is clean and arranged. That's how the scholars, rahimahumullah ta'ala, they did. The moral of the mufti, knowledgeable in the subject, recognize the culture of the country, and this is very important because the culture of the country, the reality of the country, it's part of the fatwa. And there's differences because there's difference in the society. Al-ifta, the process, Al-ifta is prohibited on the ignorant and the known. Of course, al-ifta is not recommended for the judge. There's difference between al-fatwa wal-hukm. Al-fatwa wal-hukm. Al-hukm is like someone is going to issue a sentence, and the sentence, a judgment is based on evidence, investigation. The fatwa is not like the hukm. You ask a question, someone, for example, asking a question in a matter of family, he give him fatwa. He should not go implement it. No, it's a fatwa is like an opinion. As for the hukm, had the power to be executed because it being presented in a court after examining all the evidence. And this is one. Do you have any question? No.
Does fatwa affect hukm?
Difference between fatwa and the hukm. The ruling.
I understand the difference, but can a judge, before passing the hukm, be impacted by fatwa by a mufti?
The mufti can, the fatwa can be actually a base for the hukm, because help the judge to understand if he does not already have the knowledge about that issue. But the fatwa is easy to be given in a way. Someone is like, look, this is an opinion, you can check another opinion, for example, if he's not sure. But the hukm is like a judgment to be executed. For example, between they say, this is, you cannot have this. It's a hukm, it's a judgment. Someone asking, for example, in the matter of family, said, I did this and I did this, and that this is considered talaq or not. He said, according, so in the fatwa is going to be more kind of advice, more caring about the situation. It has more also seeking islah, to correct between, for example, the spouses, etc. But when they come to the court, they look and they're going to be like given a hukm, separation or not separation. That's the difference between them. Any other question? The system of the Hisbah is also a very important system. The system of the Hisbah is that organization, if you can say, or the department. So we need to understand that when we say a subsystem, is like need to be represented in the government as a department. So we say department of Ifta in a Muslim society. So you don't need like to go knock doors and find scholars. No, it's like a department. So it says like, government center where there's, this is for the Ifta. It's like part of the, where you go to, to the court and everything, you will find, a whole division for the Ifta. And this is what we're talking about in a society. This is not like something, like random. We're talking about subsystem, which is need to have a structure. It have to have its, kind of a whole department with all its organization and management. Rather, the same for the Hisbah. So the Hisbah here is the system who protect the society from falling into evil doing. So this is not the police system or the army. The army is to defend the country. The police is to watch the way of the execution of the laws, or to fulfill them, actually, However, the Hisbah is different. This is only unique in the Islamic system. So the Hisbah is the department who will be taking care of enjoying good and forbid evil. That was very wrong. I'm sorry, but that is the Hisbah. But the way that was being done, as many of our scholars, they told that it was so harsh. Going in the street with a stick and hitting people, mutawa, hitting people, and sometimes people even, in some city they're not Muslim, they have them, because they're scared, they join the prayer. Yes, they join the prayer. They see the mutawa comes with everybody run to the prayer. They're praying because he's scared to not beat. فالحسبة it required to always have that mercy, the characteristic of giving glad tidings, kindness. So al-Hisbah, as here we're going to, is highly regarded action in Islam. It is one of the special qualities of the Prophet, peace and blessing upon him. Now, the definition of the Hisbah, it lies under the divine law that committing sins is the cause of the calamities and torment, and that obedience is the cause of bliss and pleasure of Allah. This is clear, right? So the Hisbah, what is the main objective of the Hisbah? Is to revive a good action that is disappearing from the society, and stop a bad action that is appearing in the society. So I told you it was not right, because they were like, representing harshness, rigidity, and maybe what you see now in that country because of that is the result of what has been done. And one of our eminent scholars, he used to be there. He's telling me it was. Anyway. So this is the one of the look, the moral of the muhtasib, the one who enjoy good and forbid evil and working in this department: sincerity to Allah, seeking His pleasure; patience and forbearance, halim; soft and understanding without compromising on the Islamic ruling; avoid being attached to relation with people, so he will not be, favorite other people on others, becomes based on interest. The types of people that al-Hisbah applies to: relative, non-Muslim authorities, judges, professional. Authorities included. People, they say ittaqillah. So when Umar radiallahu ta'ala an person told him ittaqillah, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he get off of his horse or donkey and he makes sujood. He said, Alhamdulillah, that still in the Ummah of Muhammad who say to their ruler, fear Allah. The condition to perform al-Hisbah, the evil action, is apparent without spying on the people in their homes. It's very important, because the privacy is regarded as sacred in Islam. It appears in the society, not people like they putting listening to the people what they doing, or like that's haram, or spying of people, that's haram. Someone will go to a judge and said, we have this someone who's drinking alcohol in his home, for example, in a Muslim society. He said, how did you know? He said, I was looking through the door. He gonna be punished. That person, he gonna be whipped in Islam. So that's very important. Because what regarded in the society, whatever been done secret, that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But don't bring your evil and put it in the society. That's the problem. Someone who entered the neighborhood drunk, for example, in Muslim society. Nobody talked to them. The next time, all the kids, they laughing at him, playing, and he's like. Then after, the whole neighborhood, people like in the coffee shop, like we have them like, laughing. Then people, they get desensitized on the action of being drunk in the street is something normal. Slowly, it becomes like, drinking, it's okay, but it's haram, but you should not do it. Till it get into the society. So the Hizbah, when they see that person, they're going to stop him before even he get to that neighborhood. That's the Hizbah. When it start to appear, they stop the evil. Inshallah, for those who want to go in more details, and if you have any question, you can ask bi'idhnillah, you can do that. I think we'll stop here. In brief, just to tell you the ruling system, the objective is to the ruling system. We'll do it next time, inshallah, because this is important to mention. The other thing that the economic system in Islam, the ownership is for Allah alone. The property is the property of Allah. Allah has created His creation to serve the human being. And the economic system is like based on the fair distribution of the income. And the fair distribution of the income is fulfilled by one action of worship, which is az-zakah. Az-zakah. When we have in the financial system, the regulator of the distribution of the income is az-zakah, then you're going to have a social justice. When the regulator of the system is a riba, then you're going to have, subhanallah, a society divided and filled with oppression. The House of Finance with Bayt Mal al-Muslimin, inshallah, you can check that. The next time we'll do mainly the ruling system of Islam, and then we tackle, inshallah ta'ala, the da'iyah and the strategy of the da'wah bi'idhnillah ta'ala. We might have an extended session next week, inshallah, if you don't mind, and we'll have get more breaks, inshallah. You agree? If you don't, we stop at 9. We'll see, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم.